There are three main types of the wheeled motor scraper. The first one pictured here is the auger, next is the paddle, and lastly, the scraper. Each name describes its type of loading method. They also follow a numbering system that states what type of scraper they are. I will detail this throughout the video. But first, let's start by explaining about the traditional scraper that uses a scraping method to load its bowl. There are two kinds with three different sizes. The first kind is the single engine scraper. Like I said before, it follows the scraper numbering system. With the single engine, it has the number 1 as the last number. For example, 621. Going up in size, next would be 631, and the biggest, which is pictured here, 651. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about its loading method. Whether it's a 621 or a 651, it needs help to load its bowl since it's a single engine. 99.9% of the time, a single engine needs a dozer to push it. It doesn't have enough power or traction to load itself. It actually takes a lot to scrape and push all that dirt inside the bowl. It's going against gravity and the weight of the dirt on top. Note that push loading is great for shortcuts because the dozer can push load them in such a short distance. Next, let's talk about how the twin engines are numbered. They all end with the number 7, the smallest being the 627, pictured here. Going up in size, 637, and lastly, the monster 657. Twin engine scrapers can load themselves because they have two engines, which gives them not only four-wheel drive, but more weight for traction. This scraper is self-loading. It refers to a term of a twin engine that is loading by itself. The term push-pull is when two twin engines are working together, helping each other load. One pushes and the other one pulls. The operator in the front is called the lead, and they decide where they're going to take the cut. Once in the cut, the rear scraper attaches itself by lowering its bail on top of the front scraper's bail hook or stinger, which is located at the back. While in motion, with four engines revving, only the lead operator will fill his bowl. The rear scraper is only pushing. Once the lead is full, the rear will lower their bowl and begin filling. At this time, the scraper in the front is now pulling with its weight that has doubled because it's already loaded. Typically, the rear scraper will have a bigger load always because of the increased weight has provided more traction for loading by the front scraper. Now for a different type of scraper. This one is called, or at least I call it, the paddle wheel scraper. Its numbering system ends with a 3. The one in this video is a 623. They make a smaller version called the 613. Let's talk about its interesting loading method. Well, it has a hydraulic motor that turns a chain with steel paddles on it. As the chain turns, it basically shoves a little bit of dirt inside the bowl and lifts it upwards. It's a really cool concept that works great for both hard and soft ground. One of the great things about these is at the mouth of the bowl, there's not a lot of spillage. It makes it great for cleaning up. Since there's a huge chain mechanism in the way, the scraper unloads a little bit differently. Instead of having an ejector that pushes the dirt out the front, this one retracts its floor of the bowl and the dirt just falls out the bottom. Lastly, the twin engine auger. This one is a special application scraper made almost exclusively for working with sand or silt-like material. It has two engines, so it has numbers 627 or 637 on it. Its loading method combines scraping dirt inside and lifting the material up to the top using an actual auger type bit that's powered hydraulically. The auger has 3 modes: neutral for when you're not loading, forward it lifts the dirt up, and reversing the auger brings the dirt down. That's how it unloads the bowl. Because of that, you want to shy away from loading sticky clay or you'll have trouble unloading it. It does have an ejector, but it doesn't move very far.